This is from a really important story here from the New York Post. It says a model has claimed that she doesn't need a boyfriend because she's so in love with herself. Luana Sandian said that she is autosexual, which is a self-love relationship that can go beyond the erotic sphere. The divorced model adds that she doesn't need a boyfriend to experience sexual pleasure and revealed that she will even be happy enjoying Valentine's Day alone. She says, being autosexual, as I see it, is along the same lines as being an independent person. Luana claimed that she's not thinking about having a relationship with someone else at the moment. She continued, I found myself single. It's the best thing a woman can do for herself. And she explains what autosexuality is. She says, it means I'm attracted to myself. I always felt that way. I just didn't know there was a name for it. And then she continues, and this was interesting. It's nice to know I'm not crazy or a massive narcissist. It's something real that a lot of people experience. It was very important to find out that I'm not alone. As sexy as that may sound, and it is, it's kind of self-love on steroids. There was always a part of me that thought it was weird, so it's nice to have this statement that it's normal. And so we see this same process carried out yet again, which of course, by the way, it is narcissism. I mean, it's like pretty much the definition of narcissism, being literally in love with yourself. I would be interested in seeing the headline 10 years from now. The headline now is model claims she doesn't need a boyfriend because she's so in love with herself. 10 years from now, the headline is ex-model says that she's alone and miserable because of rampant misogyny. That's going to be the headline 10 years from now, because the thing that these women don't understand is that your youth and your beauty, all of that fades pretty quickly. And it's just one of the sad realities of being a mortal human being. And we're being introduced to a lot of the realities of being a mortal human being in the last few years, and people don't seem to like any of them. And that's just, it's true. A lot of it is really not very fun. But another one of those realities, along with the fact that you're going to die, another one is that if you live kind of a normal length of life, most of your life is going to be spent not youthful and physically beautiful. The majority of your life, you will be in that state. So what you have right now is very temporary and very fleeting. And if that's all you are, if that's the only thing you care to cultivate, then once that goes, you're going to have nothing. And when you're walking around now and saying, well, it doesn't matter because I'm young, I'm beautiful, I don't need to try to impress anybody, I don't need companionship with anybody, people are fawning over me. When you act that way, eventually that goes away. You lose the youth and beauty, but people remember what a miserable person you are. And so you've alienated everyone in your life. You don't have your beauty to fall back on. And now you're going to spend the rest of your life just alone, miserable. And that's what it's going to be. Well, one thing I can tell you as a 4-star chef myself, amateur chef, but I consider myself a 4-star chef, your kitchen is not complete without great kitchen knives. And that's why you need Kamikoto. Kamikoto taps into more than 800 years of traditional techniques from Honshu, Japan. Kamikoto also uses steel sourced from mills in Japan, and each blade is crafted using techniques that have been honed and perfected by generations of knife smiths. Each knife comes in a beautiful heavy-duty ash wood box and make sure that the knife is stored safely as well. Each Kamikoto knife goes through a rigorous 19-step process that takes several years from start to finish to complete. Our expert bladesmiths forge and shape raw steel into hardy blades, polishing and sharpening them to an excruciatingly fine edge. Each knife is individually inspected. Kamikoto is so confident that their knives will work for you that each knife comes with a lifetime guarantee. Because of their single bevel edge, Kamikoto knives can achieve an unbelievably sharp edge you just can't get with other knives. They can cut through your ribeye like butter. That is guaranteed. Kamikoto is currently having a massive extended New Year sale, and on top of that sale, you can get an additional $50 off any purchase you make with discount code Matt Walsh. So click the link below or go to kamikoto.com/Matt Walsh and use promo code Matt Walsh to save an extra $50 today. But she also says I'm in love with myself. I'm very obsessed with myself. All I care about is myself. So she's divorced. Her marriage didn't work out. Big shocker there. And then she says that she went, I guess, on the internet, as people do, and she discovered that there's a name for this, there's a label, and that other people feel the same way she does about themselves. And just discovering that she's not alone, which is kind of ironic because she says that she wants to be alone, yet she wants to be alone, she's okay being alone, yet it was very important to her that she's not alone in feeling this way at the same time. So she wants to be alone, but she also doesn't want to be alone. So you find that tension there. And so it was important for her to find out that there are other people in this quote-unquote community and that there's a label for it. And the minute you can label it and you discover that there are other people that carry the same label, that in your mind, that legitimizes it. And that makes it a legitimate identity. And thus an identity that deserves to be celebrated. And probably we should take autosexual, if they're not already, and add them to the alphabet, LGBTQIA. Maybe, is autosexual one of the A's that's already in there? I don't know. And we see, this is the same process we've seen many times. Where you take people, they have a certain compulsion, a compulsion that they should be resisting and suppressing. In her case, it's a compulsion towards obsessive selfishness. It's bad, okay? People might experience it, but it's bad. You should try to suppress it. You should try to be a better person. You should try to develop some virtue. And maybe in a different time, someone like herself, that's what she would have done. Because she would have assumed that there's something wrong with feeling this way. She would have assumed that she's the only one. She's not going to go out in public and talk to people face to face and say, hey, I'm in love with myself and I'm the only person I care about. She would never say that to someone. So she would feel that shame and she would feel the need to change herself, and she would change maybe. But now because of the internet, whatever compulsion you feel, you could just go, Google it, discover that there are other people in that, quote, community, that there's even a fancy label for it. And now, rather than suppressing this and maybe getting over it and becoming a better person, now you've embraced it. And it begins to sort of eat you alive, and it's the only thing about you. It's your entire identity. So, the same old story, the same song we've heard many times before. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and share it with all your friends.